SOS would have taken some of your question. I'll go through some of your comments. They are so encouraging, so inspiring. The importance why you've got to continually make these comments is because you're also talking. You're a part of this show. You are also a presenter. The international community is watching and is listening. And that's why Coopers will create 25 fake accounts to come and say the same thing. We're not going to give them the platform to be talking nonsense on our platform. They will be blocked out of our platform. We'll give them the chance to watch, but not to comment. We can do that. We know how to do that. In fact, I know how to do that. As soon as we have the newsroom set up, there's some things that will happen on our page and you'll love them. Coopers will enjoy the shows, but they will not comment. So much you guys are saying. So much you guys are saying. The comments are in their hundreds. Tenola says Chris Butelezi, Chief Butelezi Chris Arno is dying of high blood pressure. I don't know what this man was thinking. But now the phone lines will be open. I hope the studio.
If I don't call Una today for here, maybe now for a normal cancer. Now for this problem where they worry with for this village. Water no day, road no day. Now see what you are picking the carrier.
I get proposal.
Go ahead.
We lead the Paris. Now man way if you cry, all man go ye. Even government go ye, and all NGO they go ye.
Okay, I will go for him.
We are behind you.
Sa Majesté la Tite Pino.
You know the waka Willie, a bat.
Now what?
A bat from my village, road no day.
So now I can start for stone the crime.
What no day? Come. Look up. See what you're picking in the drink. Look what you are picking in the carrier. And if they fall sick, motor no day, road no day for carry them go.
I see.
Where Willie? Where Willie? Willie the party told me to help me.
No, no help
from
you.
My village.
They help you. You when I say picking, look at what time, look at road. Now what's me do? Come on, give one more to me this more.
Willie. God be blessed. Thanks in Bina Avachim say. And Indi. Eva for Mekong. Les enfants pas sale et ça fait mal. Les élèves plus de l'eau sale et ça fait mal. Voilà un manda seke go karami vela yenyo yenyo mon fang sekinga comment c'est comme c'est taille fanga mielo laissez-moi te moi voilà lelo yekaïgo mo voilà bien prendo okaïgo mai Wandaza kila no patomo waganda kila no poseteze wotamze vamaigo comme vamaigo gonyoze nyaga wokumni endonza wokainduizo zumze Zona pisene ekalinyo Oh my village road no dey watano.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians, dear Ambazonians all over the world, in Europe, in America, in Asia, home front, ground one, wherever you are in the world, our friends and our sympathizers, you are welcome to the Horizon, the voice of the Ambazonian woman on ABC TV. It's another Friday. The mothers, the sisters, the aunties are here to greet you, to appreciate you, to thank you, and to just say we are here again to remind ourselves that we are together in joy, in pain, in uncertainty, in hope. Even as we look across the horizon, we know that our destinies as Ambazonians will not be cut short. What is expected of us is just to be steadfast, to be prayerful, to be resilient, and to stay on the right side of history, to stay with women of virtue, men of valor, people of integrity, that at the end of the day, even when we will meet our Creator, He will ask us, what did you do with your time? What did you do with your life? The challenge that came to your nation, to your homeland, Ambazonia, what did you do? Did you sell it out? Did you work hard to accomplish the dreams for posterity, a free homeland? Or what did you do? Remember, what we do today tells on us, our children, our families, and our generation to come. The history we write today will be read tomorrow. My appeal, the mothers of Ambazonia, their appeal, our joint appeal is that when the children will be talking about us, the women of this never again generation, your name, your time will be counted to be on the positive side. We do not have it all. We do not have all the knowledge. All what we know, what we do is the will of God, and that at the end of it all, somebody will say, thank you, great grandmother. Thank you, grandmother. Thank you, Ma, for having been there. I am free today. With me today in the studio is no other than my big sister, a powerful woman, your sister, your mother, your auntie, an honorable woman of truth, of virtue, God fearing, right standing, and standing very tall. In the days, in the time, in the history of Ambazonia, that the people did not relent when they said, go and do it for us. Go and be our speaker. Go and be the voice in the wilderness. Be the voice at the forefront. Be the voice over the river, inside the river, on top of the mountain, in the valleys. Go and speak it out with the voice I have blessed you with. It's no other than Honorable Dr. Ma Winnie Lubati, the Speaker of the Interim House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Ma Winnie, you are welcome. It's my honor to host you in another capacity. Ma Winnie, you have been coming here all the time, but today you are coming in another capacity, in a very big one, and I'm so pleased to know. They say when the child washes his hands clean, he eats with the elders. You are not only a child that has washed the hands, but you are the elder that has decided to remain seated on the chairs of elders, such that you will be able to see the children that have washed their hands clean. Ma Winnie, I appreciate you personally and I welcome you powerfully to this program, honoring you and welcoming you. Ma Winnie, greet your Amazonian people and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ma Rachel. I want to thank you for inviting me and bringing me on. This is not my first time on the horizon, but I want to really thank the Amazonian people. I want to thank Homefront first. Some of us will not be here today. We will not be doing all this if Homefront did not tell us or give us a mandate to do all this, because Homefront is where action is. And they are the ones that set the pace for what we do. We in diaspora, we are that voice that speaks on their behalf into the international community, but the action they have. So I want to thank every person, every viewer, every Ambazonia at home front, ground one, ground two, ground infinity. That's how I call it, because all over the all over the globe of this earth we have Amazonia scattered. So I want to thank you guys, and I want to for watching, for staying focused, and I want to thank you for my Rachel for inviting me, and all the technicians in the background of ABC that we don't get to see them that often. Thank you. And if you have the link to this program, please don't forget to share it and invite others so they can join you and hear us talk and discuss and share.
Yes, that is very true. Thank you, Ma Winnie. Fellow viewers, there is love in sharing. A problem shared is a problem half shared. So if you share this link, what the mothers, what the aunties and the sisters they have in stock for us will, it will lessen somebody's burden because people are sitting somewhere, some are satisfied, some are heavy hearted, some really know what it is, some are strong enough to push ahead, some know what to do in difficult times. But many of us were not that strong, and we need times like this, programs like this to encourage us, to let us know, to have persons, women, mothers like Ma Winnie, to make out time from her busy schedule to show up here to let women know that, to know girls, girl child, to let the widow know, to know the abandoned girl knows, to let the raped girl know, to let the orphans know, to let the grandmother has been abandoned because everybody has fled the village, that there is somebody out here speaking on your behalf and comforting you and sending home messages that you are not left alone. Ma Winnie, I know you have been able to overview several things in the last years, in the last months, days, weeks. Even me and you will sit here today, will not be able to exhaust. But I would just like you to have the go ahead, have the flow, and take the things that you would like to share with the Amazonian people. I remember you showed concern about doctors of no borders that have been chased away. You showed concern of the cholera. You showed concern of the women that have come to join you in the House of Reps. So many things. Your package is so full. I will just let you just talk to your people. Ma Winnie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ma Rachel. Thank you, the Horizon producers. Thank you again. Um, I sit here in the capacity as Speaker of the Interim House of Representatives. But first of all, I am a woman, I am a wife, I am a mother, I am a daughter. So every facet of life I belong to that category. So you cannot, the sum total of a person is not tied to the title they carry, but to the identity that they hold and know who they are. That is where, in your identity, then you know who really you are, and then you are able to really stretch out your wings and fulfill your destiny. Um, I will have some time some other day to talk about destiny, but today I want to talk to. I want to first of all, I'll be frank, I am excited. We have more women in the House of Representatives. No offense, my brothers, my husbands, my fathers, no offense to you, but I am really excited. And I think I need more. All those LGAs or counties that have not yet sent their reps, please send us some more. Look for some good women and send them. Right before I leave this set, our able secretary, Ambrose, will be coming. I still call him Secretary Ambrose, and that's why he probably got the Secretary General of the House. So
Thank
he
you.
is. Probably he will come in before I sleep out, but that would be a good one, so I can introduce him. Interestingly, when he was, we'll talk that later. But we need more of the daughters. There is a voice, and there is an emotion, and there is connection that women have at a different level that men do not carry. Um, in generality, men really are task oriented, vision in generality. So no, no, don't call me here and say or criticize. They are a one track in general, but there are exceptions. They are one track. They have a task. They are hunters. They catch the game. They
Mhm.
bring it home. That's it. They are happy. They have. But we women, we want to feel who is around us, how they are. Is everybody comfortable? Is everybody fine? What is going on? That's us women. And so we can multitask and sense into people and sense our environment, the atmosphere around us. Um, is very important. So, with that being said, how is the atmosphere? Horizon, you spread out your wings. How is Horizon sensing this atmosphere? It's a time of change. The change is a change that I would say welcomes the new and has to let go of the old. And if you cannot let go of the old, your hands cannot embrace the new. So if you are stuck in the old and the mindset, let me use, for example, the defunct RC. If I want to be stuck in there, thank God I have a lot of things in the archives for Amazonia about that house or that council. But if I remain stuck in there, I will not be able to embrace what and where we're going. So why am I saying this? I want to appeal to every Amazonian. Don't stay stuck in the past. If we remain stuck in the past, will keep blaming, we'll stay behind and blame our parents why they made the choice of we and yes, why they voted for we and yes to get us into this I will call it quagmire where we find ourselves. No, but there's one prophetic word that they said, our children will fight this for us. We are those children. If you want to stay in the same mindset like our parents, thinking that you want to pass this to another generation, I tell you, it will be lost. The vigor, the favor, and the enthusiasm that we have now to see that we get our sovereignty restored will be missed if we do not embrace what we have now. but we have to let go of some things in order to embrace what we have now. So I'm encouraging every, you can have you may have a little share in your little corner. Use that and do what you need to do to get us ahead. You may be at home front, and maybe the only thing you have is, I know it's planting season, and during planting season, it's usually when there is a lot of hunger. Um, you may have all that yam that you kept, those cocoa yams that you kept, is for, it's seed for you to plant for next time. We are in a planting season as well, as far as our struggle is concerned. The planting season of a new phase, a new era, as we start looking at ourselves and seeing ourselves in Boya. So we started here. We don't wait. And when the time comes to harvest, we'll be harvesting in Boya. So why am I saying this? Some of you may have had surplus of food and your next door neighbor had nothing. Share, 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 and share. And um there is this, when you see something, say something. That's also another thing, but we'll get to that. Let's, marriage.
Yeah, thank you, Mawini. Fellow Amazonians and viewers, please tune in and stay tuned because we are just beginning. Mawini is here to, we have already given some of the outline what we are going to be talking, but that's just the tip of the iceberg because as Mawini said before, the Secretary General, Secretary Ambrose of the Interim House is going to be taking the second segment of this show. So just stay tight, get a bottle of water, get something to chew, or whatever you may grab, just grip it and begin to, and just keep watching. And Mawini, really, I really appreciate one thing that you just said here, that our children, our parents said that our children will fight tomorrow. I look at this statement, it's really, really two-sided because then maybe our parents' means were limited. Exposure was not really there. They couldn't go far on their own. But look at the times where we find ourselves. The social media, most of us are in let me put it, take your word, let me just say ground zero infinity and home front infinity. Wherever you find yourself in Amazonia, you are just home front infinity, looking maybe for greener pastures. Most of us are exposed now where we have the means to work and earn money, where we can sponsor and do the things we are doing. Then with our parents, it wasn't really there. Knowledge has improved, as the Bible says, in the latter days. These are the latter days for the children of Amazonia, for the knowledge that we have gained, access to the United Nations, access to the to know that there was a we and yes, access to many things. So this is really the time. And really, if you look at if it is these children this time to fight it, because look at the children we now have in one man's land. Are they the children who are going to fight it for us? Many of them did not see home and they did not enjoy some of the things that, or they don't know, or the ones that La Republique is already killing. How many of them are going to remain there for them to wait to fight for the next generation when they are doing a kind of hybrid, forcing their men to come and rape our children to have children, and they are tactically killing some of us so that will not be in existence. Is you this generation? If you are listening to us, this that prophecy that our children will fight for us, it is you, your those our fathers were talking about. So if you are sitting and chilling, thinking that I will just rest for others to do, remember that your forefathers did something and ask yourself, what are you doing? So, Winnie, I will just leave it there for you to pick up the next topic, that the next idea that you want to glide into. And then I said today you will be the one to pick where you want to talk. I will just say my own little. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you, Maricha. Just keeping in line with embracing the new and letting go of the old. Um, like you also said, and we have echoed that here today, this evening, that we are that generation. We are that generation our parents were talking about. But let's take a few steps backward. You know, if you do archery where you do bow and arrow, you have to put that arrow in that bow, you pull it back a little bit to apply some tension, then you release it for it to then give for it to go ahead at the speed that you want and to hit the target. So I will take that bow back a little bit. Our parents our parents were the ones that were under a colonial regime. They grew up or and they came to age still under a mandated territory. And they were barely just starting. Believe it or not, people may not realize most of the wealth that our parents would have accumulated were actually eroded when the we yes thing came into being. Our financial structures were torn down. Um, if you look at it, knowledge because of that, our parents. There was a time I was a little bit during the struggle, I was not so happy. I said, why are our people so reluctant to give? Why are they not generous? Why don't we see enough generosity as should be, knowing that we have so many of us now in diaspora and living way better off than some of our let me call it siblings and brothers and sisters and parents back at home. Why are they? I was sharing this with a friend, and she said, Mawini, as they popularly called, Mawini, look at it this way. Our parents were in on jangis, and what were they doing? There was when you I always pride my culture, our culture, that we are a generous people. You can't go into a home of an Ambazonia and there is food, they will not give you. Even if they don't have food, they'll give you water. If they have nothing, they'll give you water. They'll give you color. That's all part of our culture. So I said, but why are we that way? We are very generous with food and other stuff but when it comes to money and supporting this struggle, I wasn't seeing that generosity at the level I expected it to be. She said, remember, most of our parents, all they did was they were in little jangi houses. They'll put their little jangi money and collect that money to do what? Send us to school. They valued education so much that they would join jangis, pick their jangi money, and send us to school. They would rather go naked, wear jangshu, wear faded old clothes so that they could get us a good education. And where has that education led us to? It has given us the ability and the know-how that we can read, we can research, find out who we are, our identity. And then because we know now who we are, it gave us the determination to stand up to say, this is who I am. These are my rights. I have been deceived for over 50 years. I was taught the wrong history. My identity was smushed, covered, but it did not die because the core of who I am is in the DNA of who I am. And guess what? Because we now knew that, we understood that. A few people understood, but the dissemination of knowledge was not there that much. But today it is. So guess what? 2016 was the year of us coming to age. Those children that were supposed to fight, we came to age. We came to maturity. And guess what? The spark was not in diaspora. The spark was at the home front. They came to age. But do you know what, my Rachel? What God knew, the children of Israel, God promised Abraham. I'll use them as a good example for us because we can draw lessons and learn from their own scenario and cases. God told Abraham, Abraham was in the promised land, but didn't even own a space. When his wife died, he had to go buy a cave to bury his wife, Sarah. But God said, remember, just know this for sure. Your children are going to go down, and there will be, God didn't even tell him that Egypt. He said they are going to go and they will be enslaved for 400 years. God forbid that's not our portion. Maybe we've already crossed the 400 mark when you add all the times of slavery and all whatnot, or 200 mark or whatever. He said, but I will judge the nation that will oppress them, and then I will bring your children back into this land. But do you know what? It took 430 years before they actually left. Why? I have pondered about that, and I said, okay, Moses tried to help them when it was just 390 years before they were supposed to leave. And Moses, you trying to do that, it was premature. And guess what? It landed Moses in a big hot soup. And Moses had to flee. So when Moses had to flee, it took Moses another 40 years before God went back, before Moses was ready. Then God went and knocked at Moses' door with a burning bush and said, hey, go back. Go back to Egypt. And Moses gave all kinds of arguments. 40 years prior, he wasn't giving any excuses. He just wanted to do it, but it was not the right timing. It was not the appropriate timing. And so what happened? I would say, I think Moses got depressed. God stayed in the back, got discouraged, stayed as a shepherd on the hills for about 40 years. And God said, enough with this. It's time, get up, go take my people out. So did God lie that it was going to be 400 years? I say no. I think Moses was not ready. The children of Israel also, or the Hebrew children themselves, were not ready. They enjoyed their garlics, their cucumbers, but God was hearing the groaning, the bondage. Remember, most of their sons were being thrown to the crocks in the Nile for those boys to be killed, because they asked the midwife, slay the boys, just let the girls live. That is a picture for us. What are they doing to us today? Killing our young men, imprisoning our young men, and raping our daughters and women. That's what La Republique and all their wicked soldiers have been doing. But guess what? When Moses went, did the people actually embrace him right off the bat? No. When he went and gave Pharaoh the first command that God gave, and with display, what happened? Pharaoh cranked up the the burden. He put even a harder burden on the people. Why am I taking time to say this? There is never a day that an oppressor will want to set free the oppressed, as long as they're benefiting from it. That benefit, they don't want to lose. Whatever gains, they don't. So if you dare, because they had crushed your spirit, put you in a subservient condition, they won't want to let you go. And so if you dare raise your voice that you want to go, you want to be free, guess what they do? They crank it up and put the heat on you, or suppress you more and make it harder. So all what we've been experiencing is not strange, and it is not abnormal. It is all normal. It is part of the process of liberation and freedom. But if you don't give up, if we don't hear the other terrible voices, guess what? We will eat the fruit of our freedom. I know we will be free. I don't think Pharaoh thought the children of Israel were going to be free, because it got to a point where even his own magicians and advisors told him that it's the hand of God who let these people go. He started trying to make concession. He said, I'll only let the men go. The women and the children and your animal, your livestock will stay. And you can go worship your God and come back. And then another stage, he said, no, 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 no. You can go, but you should come back. Don't go too far. We are at that stage where we are. You can go. Let only your deeds go, but don't go too far. That is where we are. We are in this struggle at you can go, but don't go too far. So that you can leave your children. We can renegotiate something. We can make new deals. We can give you that so-called special status.
Special
That is where we
status.
are. Yes. So we have to understand that it's a it's a liberation from oppression has a cycle, but it also has a phase and also has a process. The discouragement that we are getting from some of our brothers, it means that in the core of them, they were expecting something different too soon and too fast, and did not realize that there is a price to pay. But there's a time that God sets in and puts a distinction. We are also at that phase of distinction, separation, distinction, and pressing on. Did we receive our leader that God has set with our all our hearts right at the beginning? No. If Moses had had the 100% 100% support before the children of Israel would have gone out of Egypt, then they would never have left Egypt. Mark my words on that. If Moses had 100% support, then Israel would never have left Egypt. Think about those who are intermarried with Egyptians. They had Egyptian spouses and they didn't want to go. They were comfortable. And some of them may have had better position. They may have been the foreman of the slave drivers. So they were not ready to leave that comfort to go where? In the desert where we don't know where we are going and we don't know how we're going to get there, and how 2 million people? No, no. So we have to understand that it can be a challenge for a liberation struggle for many who have not trained their mind, put themselves, and are ready. But I'm glad that home front, some of you know it. And you are, because you know that you are staying the course. You are not letting yourself to be carried away by every voice and every wind that comes. Do you know something, my Rachel? Of all the people that left Egypt who were 20 years and older, only two of them entered the promised land. Anybody that was 20 years and older did not enter the promised land, except for two, Joshua and Caleb. Why? These two people had the faith that they believed what God said. God brought them to the promised land. They sent 12 spies. You think that God was sending them to 12 spies to go do Njogmasi work, so Njogmasi? No. It was time for them to go take possession. So God sent 12 spies, one from each tribe. But guess what happened to them? 10 brought a bad report. What kind of reports are we hearing out and the voices that we're hearing now? What kind of report are we hearing? And when they brought that report, what did the people do? Oh, Moses, was it because we had no graves in Egypt? You wanted us to die? Oh, our children will perish. Our children will die. Our children are suffering. There is nothing we can do. Oh, we are in this desert. Of course, I've not even mentioned the time they needed water, they needed food, they were tired of manna, they were tired of quail, they were tired of this or that. And you know what? It's interesting. They never checked to see that we've been in this journey for so many months and years. Our clothes are not changing. It remains new. Our feet are not hurting. Our sandals did not wear out. We have the same scenario played. But guess what? If you look at, I encourage people, if you're a Christian, go read the book of Exodus and see how, and prepare yourself for this struggle. There were people that were rebellious, and God decided to pop, cut them, ground open, swallow some of them. Serpents came, beat some of them. And then God said, okay, because you believe, I sent the spies, they were in the land for 40 days. You refused to believe what, except for my two servants who feared me and honored my word, Joshua and Caleb. The rest of you will not enter. You will not enter that land. So even those 10 others who went there, ate the grapes, brought the cluster of grapes that they said they had to put a pole. Two people had to carry one cluster of grapes for how the land was flowing with milk and honey. They really said it. They said it was flowing with milk and honey. But there are giants in the land. Oh, don't we have giants that are that are oppressing us, and that we see the giants that stand in the international community to oppose us? We do have them. Those that back up La Republique, they are the giants. But guess what? It's interesting and very important that we prepare our minds. We know that God had to allow us to be spiritually prepared and ready and financially able to support what we can do today. That's why he allowed most of us to get into diaspora. Not because our parents were the richest of the richest. Forget about all those that embezzle money in La Republique and can send their kids everywhere, anywhere, and they can just squander money. And of course, it's the people's money. Some of it is the oil money that comes from our land, the resources, the 70% GDP money that comes from our territory. You think that your oppressor wants to? Can you imagine what happened when the children of Israel left, how devastating the economy of Egypt was? It was not only the economy, but also military wise. Pharaoh and his army drowned in the Red Sea. So there was a military devastation and economic devastation. So we should know that God gave us a leader, and that leader at this time is President Sako. And not everybody is going to embrace him. So that this message, part of it is for him to know that. And that's also part to prepare our people to know that it's never going to be 100% acceptance. And the interim government as a team will working together to move ahead.
Ma, when you are just talking like this, so many things. I don't know whether it has really, yeah, when God just wants His message to go across, He will just drop it there. Um, I thank you for being a child of God, a daughter of Zion. You know where we meet and we do the Zion daughters work. It's not by coincidence that God is just letting you, discern with this message. And the good thing in it is that in the Quran, even the Muslims, they have this part of the story. So it will not only be as if, because we are making reference to the Bible, it's only for Christians. Because the Quran, they have the Moses, the story, also the Exodus. They have it so they understand it too perfectly well. But I also look at it. God was taking people physically dead when they did not do the things. They just died physically. But in our case, what is he doing? He's exposing the works of the enemies amongst us. He even disgraces them in what they do. And Christians, they take the other way now. They say through forgiveness, through the blood of Jesus. That is why we are calling on every child that has gone astray to repent, come home, make restitution, restore your steps back to going to Boya. Stop going. I just came up with a thought the other day. I said, stop going to Bia, come and go to Boya. Stop going to Bia. Come and let's go to Boya, where we where where we belong. And you also made mention of the two Joshua, the 12 spies that were sent. How many came back with good reports? Just two. These two, if you look at the whole Amazonian community everywhere, if you call off a wedding, you call a name, a baptism, call something, you will see thousands of people driving across, flying across the continent. There are thousands in there because they want to satisfy that momentary joy for somebody who is getting married. But from experience, if you call an Amazonian meeting, even through virtual, where everybody can connect through their laptop or their phones or wherever they are, just to hear the good report, there are usually not many. This is just the same scene that the Bible is playing. Two good reports. You see the handful of Amazonians. When some people say that one are 10, remember that you are Joshua or you are Caleb. And where did the other eight go? They gave bad report. And how did we end up? Promised land was fulfilled. So it is really a message of encouragement for us today that even if you find yourself in a meeting, four of you, keep on moving. Many are called, few are chosen. You are that chosen one to restore homeland. And we know that God is on our side. God ordained revolution. Mawini, over to you.
Um, the one thing I would say is, I mentioned that God was waiting for us to mature spiritually, financially. It's not because most of us are very wealthy, but the wealth of a person, the Bible says the life of a man does not consist of the abundance of what they have. But what is really important is knowing your destiny and your priority. If Let me put this for example, if you're an athlete, Paul even talks about this. You're gonna ask me, am I preacher today? Maybe. If you're an athlete and you want to go compete in an international level or sporting event, you will have to discipline yourself to train. If you don't discipline yourself to train, then you don't expect to win an award or to even, whether it's a marathon, a sprint, or soccer, or whatever, football. Okay, let me use it for ground zero people to understand football, or whatever sporting event it is. Or even if you were going to do a competition, fine arts, which is like music festival or whatever, you have to train, practice together. So we are in a rehearsal mode for preparing to take the helm of our leadership when we get to Boya. The rehearsal mode, why am I saying this? This is also for us, not just for those who are turning their backs and are the rebellious. You learn how to deal with rebellious people and know what to. And at this moment, we cannot pull all the tools. God is helping us to learn patience, how to handle such people. And God is also helping. Let me tell you, God is not a respecter of person. If he wants to make the ground open and people get swallowed, he can still do it. But his
Yeah.
word also, he's a patient God. And we say it is, and let me not say it, we say this is a God ordained revolution. And until you believe it in you, then will you be able to start seeing how God is doing things. Otherwise, for you, it will be just coincidence. How could we have the errors that some people made, the selfishness that some people made, the wickedness that some people had done, thinking they were going to swallow us up? actually became the tension. Remember, I talk about the bow and arrow if you're doing archery. It was the tension that we needed to pull back that arrow in the bow to let it go so it will go further and become stronger to hit a target. And what just happened the last, let me say, from December, it actually started in November. What happened between that time up to date was that tension that was being put so that this arrow that is the target arrow that needs to hit a target. We would never have left the position of um, restoration council. We would have remained in there. But for our eyes
Ma,
to have been open to realize
ma,
that we
Winnie,
needed a house. Yes.
I ask you, you don't talk something for this tension. Let me say, for every bad thing will happen, good day for inside.
God the turner. God will take even that bad thing wey happen, then use them for do some good thing wey it go move you further than you before even go. That is
Let
how
me
God
say,
does.
now really God ordained.
Yes.
Because if God not be shake the calabash, make the water dirty, the clean water so not before come up now. So, in another words,
Yes. If whatever the people intended and thought they were going to do, the Bible says God is omniscient. It means that God knows everything from beginning to end, from eternity to time. God knows everything. You know, if He teach you, it's surprising. Nothing, not the surprise God. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So God did not say they could do that. But if you don't already, if if most of us listen, if we don't hear God's voice, we don't start the talk.
oh
Right,
yes,
long time. For those way they will be fit discern. So even when this be happen, sometimes I say some people they on top their knees they pray. They say, Papa God, um, I want me you give me this thing. They put down. They say, hey, give me. I need this. I need this. I need this. But they hold some other thing for their hand tight. God they bring that thing for their front. But because the church said God will give me the Adam with that, God said no. I need to take the one away for your hand. That one for your hand for go away so that you feel hold the other one way and they bring up for you because you know if you hold the two at one time. So we be careful leave and let me some people they go so that we feel embrace. God not need plenty people for do He work when He want to, but He enjoy for get people may they come along because now we get the blessings when we allow it for use we. The blessing it be part of the we joining God for do it way either already planned for do am is part of the destiny and a privilege where we get am. Remember, I talked so will not be don't be spiritually ready, but now God will not say the time don't come. Not be because say we don't go, she don't pray, say, oh, liberate we God, liberate we. No. When the time become, God will give we enough grace for only to see one small step at a time and understand. So not time for we for pray, not time for we for call on God, not time for we for mount resistance, faith and action, and not time for we for stand firm.
now time for we for stand firm. When you want stand firm, make sure say your two foot the day for them. If you need support, hook for some person way it will now go hold together. The other person, if he know say it, when we hook all together, we form that bond. We form that to the call and say Umbutu. We are together. I am here because you are there, and we end it together. Now the thing this way, the Amazonian um, sovereignty quest for sovereignty don't reach now. So now you and who una stand for whose side? na for outside you stand. You hold na who in hand. Na another time wey we be dey class 1, class 2, then class 3, when long break, you and your friend una hold una hand. Una dey go for dining shed for go buy puff puff and beans. Na you and who dey go dining shed for go buy puff puff and beans? When you don big small, you don go school, na you and who dey go achombo join? Dat time you don comot for puff puff and beans reach for achombo join, na you and who dey go achombo join? Den when you big small, you reach for some another level, na you and who dey go do burning fish? When you don big again, you reach small, na you and who dey go the places dem wey dem dey go, you go check and find. Na so dis our Ambazonian course don be now, because plenty pipu dem dey call you say come go dining shed, come go achombo join, come go burning fish join, na you and who dey go? You go only ask yourself say na you and who dey go. Den if you look left, you look right, as I fit look now so I see my Winnie, I look I see my honourable secretary don come, den me I go know say I dey go na for the correct road. So fellow Ambazonians, I go still give my Winnie may e still talk something again before I go officially welcome our honourable secretary for house.
The best thing what I want tell every Ambazonian, the one I go talk for, that will come to talk with all we know. I say, una stay focused. Una get one leader. I mean, one true leader. Una fit get plenty other people where they call themselves say na leaders, but una get na one true leader. That leader, na the person wey dey for the helm for the interim government. His name na President Sako, and we be all part of that team wey we dey help to boya. Una tell we construct say we wan go boya, then they find ourselves na for Bonaberry, or find ourselves we dey na for road for go for Etudi. No, we not dey way for that route. And plenty people dem dey where they dey for that road, and then the lie people dem talk say, we dey go for this place, and then they preach some gospel where they talk say unity gospel, when they don't preach unity. How many they go preach unity gospel, and then they say unity, when they don't talk that unity, then you want see the slaughter with boys dem for ground. I don't know me that kind of unity, if not be trick. I be for life for touch on cholera for help people them. But I just put one small word, then I will introduce the person where they come after me. For this issue for cholera, I beg with people them. More una take una water, una boil water. Even water when I wash pan them day for chop. Water for drink, una boil them daytime until the face for cholera. Cholera, I know say we plenty people they think say maybe something they inside water, or they don't put something for inside water. If you dey boil your water, the thing where they cause cholera, I no one call the baby name because in the but might say the bacteria or where they cause the sick. Once you boil your water, it go kill her, and then you feel be able for drink. If you get filter, you add filter there. Then you boil them, let the water cool, you filter them. Make sure say the water be covered. But if you want wash your pan, them no go for corner that small stream where the flow for corner when a house go take water there for wash your pan the whole now chop inside, because then you leave the same thing inside the pan, then you chop from there. You can. So I go encourage everybody, boil water for drink, boil water as you wash pan them. May we try for reduce how this thing is spread. When when you don't do all the one way you feel do, then guess what? If we continue, then we get for the shout for international community. We not go check them on. We not go check what they happen. No, we no want another trouble. Make them be so other thing we will not know where. If it been a two ways or other people they don't do them before it happen. But I don't want leave you marriage. I want not introduce this we papa brother where they on those stage we. My first encounter with you now when he be Secretary of State for Home Affairs. Interestingly enough, ask it, he go tell you say I be one tough cooking woman when we begin for vetting. And that, interestingly, you know, me know I be there work that day. I began for go take permission from my boss, clock out, and go sit down for a quiet place. So more do vetting, and we began for invite the chair for ethics commission. We let Papa Che where we don't go ahead of we. And we'll be do that, and we'll be doing so that may it be fair, may it feel relaxed and comfortable, so nobody no go off tangent for just one destroy it. But that one Pache at the end say, why would I do this thing so for TV? When I suppose they do all the kind of vetting for TV. And it was, I'm glad he had that that experience. I think he enjoyed, he can look back and say it was a good thing he went through that. So none other than with Secretary General for the House of Representatives, Comrade Ambrose. I want leave you in Comrade Ambrose. I want leave you in marriage hand. And marriage, I want introduce you to somebody, a great man, a great father, a great leader, and man talk something self. People don't know.
Okay, maybe you
I
don't
want you
take
to
them.
say, if you imagine, say, this
Okay.
is somebody that I would say he knows leadership and he knows what to do. When he be feel say he be tired, he not be go blame President Sarkozy say more stop this struggle because I don't tired. He be say I need for take rest. He be resign. When he be resign, he go back. He not be go she down for back start sabotage. He be take rest. And when he be don't be ready for come back, well, we got for no say sometimes people they tired. But now for you for understand when you don't tired, you say I need for take some time off for rest. And nobody no go blame you. You can rest because believe it or not, this work na day and night. You do work like you do work na 3 jobs. You go your own regular work, you come back, you do this, you get family to do, and you get Amazonia work too for do. And it not be my way. He get picking the way they still he get for be a father to those children, a husband to the wife, and they still get for run different things. So I want to thank you, Secretary Ambrose, for coming back in the game even stronger, and for being who you are. I just want to thank you and appreciate you for doing that. So, Ma Rachel, I don't.
And Mawini, you don't do your work, and the thing is swinging for you because the shoe where you leave am for front door, that way enter it take I enter house. So it's not just a coincidence that you the shift from the show, then it come on stage. You were the secretary general in that defunct house, and then God elevated you to the other people, and then he too just picked up from where, it's not just a coincidence, that both of you just came here. If I tell you how you came here, you will not even, there's no time for that. We will talk about it. I'm so happy, Mawini, to have you today. I know two of our points, we haven't really exhausted them. You are still going to come. I know your time is so tight. I so appreciate you that you really made it out for your people to come to the show. Thank you, Mawini. Thank you very much. I always, anytime now. Thank you, Mama.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mommy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you
Hats
very
off
much.
to you.
I think
Heart off.
Secretary
Yeah,
Ambrose's
cutting it
sound.
off
Secretary
Yeah, can you
Ambrose,
hear
your
me?
sound. I think you
Can
need
you
to
hear
turn
me?
your sound up a little bit
a
on your
little bit.
device. Yes.
Just bear with me.
N-
This is the highest I can
More.
go.
Okay,
Can
that's
I
Okay,
fine.
go?
I think
good.
it's better now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Speaker of the House, and Marishal, I think you as Amazonian ladies who are devoted to the struggle, who have stayed resilient and genuine to our struggle, The only thing I can do is to take the hats off and say keep it up, because it is because of people like you that you see us here doing everything to make sure that we get to Boya. So just keep it up, and we'll do everything possible to be able to support you in this struggle.
Thank you, Honorable Secretary. Mawini,
Come
thank
on,
you. And
team.
let me have oh, baby.
Oh, I see a
Yeah.
young Amazonian, Mr. Mr. SG. Oh, let her wave. Hi.
Okay, can you wave to the Amazonian people? Say
Hi.
something.
Hi,
Say-
baby.
Okay. Okay, then you go downstairs. I'll meet you downstairs. Okay, good. Good. Oh, sorry for that.
No,
Yeah,
that's
that is
Untimely.
part
okay.
of it.
That's the reality of what we I just said we have to live with. And that is
Yeah.
also, I think it's something really good for us to not pretend that we are not natural, we are not parents, we don't have those responsibilities. We have it. We live our lives, and that is the one beauty, the one thing I learned coming into, let me put it this way, America, is that the practicality of just putting your family along with everything in your life and not
Mhm.
separating and putting them in different boxes where it's like you are at work and you think that you don't have a family, and when you are in the family you want to try to put up this facade. No, the totality, remember I started, I say the totality of knowing who you are, your identity as a daughter, as a mother, as a child, it is all part of it. It's a total package. You cannot separate it. Thank you, Secretary Ambrose. I respect
Thank you
you for
so
that.
much. Yeah, my
Yes.
pleasure.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mawini. I can fade it up. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
So,
Bye.
yeah.
Bye.
You're welcome, my Honorable Secretary, my brother from, look at this was a Momo house. Oh. My brother from Momo, my everything. So, thank you guys. Thank you, Secretary, for being there. You know, me and you, we've come a very long way. We've had our times, and at the end of it, they say better is the end of the thing than the beginning. So the way
Sure.
we are ending it, that is the best part of it, that we have a lot to talk about. Where if we narrate how far we've come, it will just only strengthen some people to know that when you disagree, you agree. When you agree, you can still disagree. At the end of the day, you make sure that your goals are the same. And this is what we are talking about here. Mawini just nailed it. When you are tired in this race, don't push your competitors or the people with whom you are running the race, that when you not feel tired, then you push them in the course of running because you want to stay by the side. No, you do an honorable thing and you stay by the side. And as the race continues, you just keep jogging and your pace will increase gradually from jogging. You see yourself running, running. This is just a metaphor I can use because this is what has brought the man you have in front of us. He left us as Secretary Ambrose. Everybody was still calling him Secretary Ambrose. Even when he left, it was this Secretary Ambrose. In the absence, Secretary Ambrose. I never saw anybody that even went out to call him any other thing. He was still Secretary Ambrose. Even when he attends meetings, he was no Secretary of State, no SOS for nothing. He wasn't in anything, but everybody was still saying Secretary Ambrose, Secretary Ambrose. You know, I said it before, if you wash your hands clean, you eat with the elders, people will see your good works and they will call you to say, where is this person that we used to have? Where I see in Facebook, any not Facebook, WhatsApp, the moment he comments anything on any forum, hey, where have you been? We are missing you. Everybody kept saying this, even if he wanted to continue lying low. He never laid low. He was always in the forum, pushing things, always at meetings, at the LGA level, at county level, pushing things gradually, and up to now, if we have him, then I can say this is one of the most, me, I will say it. He knows I've fought with him several times, but this is the person I can say, if they say you work up for something that people can stand and testify, I'm not just talking in front of camera. People, I don't sing praises,
Pick me
but
up.
if there's one person that I can say worked up for what we are seeing today, it is him. It's an epitome of whatever you can refer to. Men in this revolution, you can also consult him. Somehow I'm a counselor, not somehow I am a counselor, I'm a consultant. You can, if I see one, somebody that you can go to, I can identify. Please, if
Thank
it
you.
is tied with you in any area, like a man, you can give him a ring. It's not just a television show, it's not just a talk show. No, there are some shows that they call reality show, and what I'm saying is just what can help fellow Amazonians. And I'm so pleased to have him on the horizon. Though we say voice of the Amazonian woman, a son is from a woman. He is husband to a wife, and he is husband to a daughter. So he being here is the voice of the wife, the voice of the mother, the voice of the daughter, the voice of the auntie, the voice of the niece. So don't sit behind there as a man and say, oh, the only tossing a voice of Amazonian woman. Me, I not be woman, no. I need to go me there. No. When you come to talk, you talk on behalf of your mother, your wife, your daughter, your aunties, all the females that you know you are talking on their behalf. That is the voice of the Amazonian woman. Once again, Honorable Secretary Ambrose, you're welcome to the horizon. I'm honored to have you. Welcome, sir. Greet your Amazonian people and let's get started.
Okay, thank you so much, Marasha, for inviting me to the Horizon. And it's always a pleasure to be here to talk to you. And it's always a pleasure to address my people. I call them my people because they are really my people, the people of the big society Amazonian, those in the diaspora and those on the home front. There is nothing better, and there will be nothing better in our lives in this generation than us putting a shift, than us putting all our energy to liberate our people. We know there are bombs on the roads. We know it's tough, but the good thing is when it gets tough, the tough gets going. We just need to keep on. Let us not be discouraged. Situations like the ones we face is not new to us. We've been there before. So please, this is a period of Lent, and you saw how Jesus Christ carried his cross. He fell down 3 times, but he still got up, carried his cross, and continued. That is what I expect from all of us. We will have these hurdles. We will stumble, we'll fall, we'll get up, and we'll continue until we get to Boya. So I'd like to thank all of you, and I'd like to thank for inviting me, and I'm really prepared to be able to take you through the different questions that you have for me and for our people. If there's anything, I'm here to educate, I'm here to enlighten, I'm here to give the hope that we need in order to get to Boya. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Secretary. You are welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Amazonians. You are watching The Horizon, the voice of the Amazonian woman on ABC TV. We are staying the course with everyone that comes on our platform, on our program, on our show. We are getting to Boya, we are not going to Bia. That is the motto. We are going to Boya, we are not going to Bia. So we have to distinguish these two. So, and we have come to a point that we wouldn't be belaboring calling people's names. But if along the line, any discussion warranted that we get to that level, we will not hesitate because events do happen because human beings are alive and things do happen because people instigate them. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to shoot she's lows, as they will say it. So let me put it in this way. She's lows. Yes, Secretary Ambrose, you are welcome again, Honorable Secretary. You know, you've been an instrument, you've been a tool, you've been something that somebody can hold on to. You know, there's a structure in this interim government um, that, you know, let me just say it. People used to say President Zakwe is the one calling people. But if you look at yourself, you will see that it's the people that called you, the people that chose you because of the wonderful things that you've been doing. You know, they say when man calls you, it might be limited, but when the people and God call you, you will go a long way. So for that reason, you've been this instrument. What was the advent of the APP? Many people hear APP. Some people will just say APP. Some people don't even know how to complete the acronym. They just some say APP is a structure. Some say it's a house. Some say it's a forum. Really, you are the father of that thing together with our president. Just enlighten it because you were the Secretary of State at that time when it was born, introduced. What was the advent of this APP?
Okay. Thank you so much. It may be long, but I will try to keep it short and precise and clearly explain to the people. So, Marasha, what happened was during the liberation struggle in the early days, I'm a good person. I like to analyze things, and I sat together with one of my friends here in London. He worked with us already, so we were looking at the way to bring structure into the liberation struggle because there was a lot of chaos in the sense you get leaders springing up left, right, and center, individuals, their monies, donations going left, right. And there was literally no coordination, but we had the people who were willing to put in these monies. And we knew clearly at one point that the people will begin to ask us questions. Where are we going to? Why is it not happening? You understand? Why have we been donating so much money, but up to now nothing's happening? We needed a structure. We needed a structure that will make people to be accountable in whatever they are doing. So now we started looking at how do we come up with this. We were so lucky that in this thought process, Amazonians went down to Nigeria, and then they decided to say, okay, good, this is our time. Let us bring this group. There were so many groups at that point in time. Just a moment. There were so many groups at that point in time. They wanted to bring this group together, right? Which was beautiful. So the very fact that they brought the groups together into the interim government, I mean, it was what we heard, but it came in and there was nothing to show for. You just had the interim government. How would it function? We were just reliant on country coordinators. Of course, they did a great job during that time to be able to make sure they, handle the weight of the liberation struggle. Thanks to you, I believe in Austria, you were doing a great job. In Germany, there were people doing a great job. In the UK here, we had people doing a great job. In the US, and they split it into regions. So now, I said, but we're in the diaspora. We have country meetings, right? And we can leverage these country meetings to say, okay, good. These are people, they speak the same language, they come from the same area. Can we be able to form smaller units? And then we came up with the idea of having LGs. Because again, when you reflect and you look on the ground, you're asking yourself, how are the restoration forces going to traverse different boundaries and do things? These children were dying in their numbers just because they were going to terrains which are unknown to them. They were going into the hands of enemies who have turned to pretend like the Amba boys. But the very fact that we wanted to constrain them, constrain is a hard word to use, but that constraint, we needed it because we needed to reduce the death toll. So we decided to form these small units, which are the LGAs, whereby there is secret. You can use the dialect to be able to communicate with people, and you know everybody who is in that region or who is fighting there. That way, we started having that form of organization. That's why we settled for the LGA by LGA. At that time, there were people shouting county by county, but the whole thing, you can't really say, if I say Momo County, you can't really pull like Marashe is from where Momo County. So go lower where you'll be able to get people from the grassroots. So we had those ideas. Of course, because I wasn't in the government, I couldn't be able to implement those ideas. So I kept on sending messages. I got the number of the president, Dr. Sakoe Komen, and I kept on sending messages to him, telling him that I have a proposal which is geared towards the structure of the people. But I never sent him the proposal. We've written it, we've designed it, but I never sent it. The sketch was there. I held it as an intellectual property. I sent what I did is I sent the document to him, but I encrypted it with a key. I encrypted it so that and the secretary was supposed to then give him the key at that time. Or he had the press secretary who was supposed to then give him the key to open it, and he finally opened it, and then came back to me and said, "Oh, this is brilliant. How are we going to go ahead with it?" I just told him, "Well, if you want us to develop it further, I will do it." Then I remember one afternoon he sent a message to me. He said, "Can you send me your full names and yeah, any other title or responsibilities, your job, and other?" I was just like, "Okay, good." I responded to the message. Then it's after 2 weeks. I was at home here. My phone started ringing like crazy. They said they have reshuffled the cabinet. You are the Secretary of State for Home Affairs. You know, and then I called His Excellency. I was there like, wow, what a surprise. And I know they say, I want you. Immediately he said, I want you now to start to look for a way to implement the Amba Peace Plan. To implement that time it wasn't the Amba Peace Plan. To implement those ideas. So now immediately I pulled in at that time the vice president at that time. I pulled in other people, put them in a Google. We shared a shared document, password protected shared document. We started developing it together, getting ideas, arguing why this should be this or that should not be this, and all the like. That is how it started. I won't dictate it. So it was at that time because he gave that power, and I was able to pull people. We collaborated and then expanded the idea to what we are. But again, it wasn't without any opposition. I needed to get this through the cabinet. I remember the first time I presented it in the cabinet, there were individuals who actually literally kicked against it. So many. I can tell you, Dr. Santos, Nick Santos was a person who was, oh, what is all this, blah, blah. They kicked against it. It was tough. I went back, came back the next week. I had to sell it until I got the vote, and it went through. So that is when they fully understood that we have a master plan, but we didn't have the name. So we decided to go for the name Amba Peace Plan because it is the Ambazonian Peace Plan. A plan is a strategy. We are a long-term strategy we are putting in place and try to execute it. It's not just a vision. It has become a strategy a long-term strategy we want to execute. And it's not just in the diaspora, but also on the ground. That is how it came about. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sek. You know, great minds, great thoughts, great vision, and authority yields fruits. And even up to today, everyone sitting anywhere will certainly know that the killings, the strategy, whether military, financial, whatever platform that has worked successfully, came as a result of this God given thought, or however God wanted it. Is a God ordained revolution, and He calls in the people at any time to do the right thing, for which I can boldly say by your explanation here, this plan, this structure is not an exemption from what God really had from this God ordained revolution. And if we look at it critically, we realize that from then things and other structures were born. And what from all what you've said, because from this, yeah, challenges, we will not even go there because we are succeeding in it. How has this Amber Peace Plan really contributed to to other major events that took place thereafter?
Okay.
Because I was
Yeah.
in Berlin, SSC 1, and we just realized number 2. But let me not get to number 2. What are the relationships between APP and the realization of ASSC 1?
Okay, good. I'll take it this way. The Amber Peace Plan, we had two, our focus, we were focused on the diaspora for the potential, economic potential, and then
Mhm.
focus on ground zero, or focus on the home front, sorry, focus on the home front for what? Creating a safe society, protecting our people, defending our people. And you could not defend our people if you don't have the resources that they need to be able to do the self-defense. Now, you can have these illustrious plans in place. You can talk yourself through. You won't make it. So we started the plans, and we started organizing people, and they started raising money. But this was not good enough because we did not clearly define the terms of reference of each individual's or the responsibility. And there is one thing. During this process, we didn't know a lot of people, so we could not be able to do the stringent vetting we are doing right now. So that is why we had a lot of dodgy people who came into our LGAs, into our counties, and squandered the monies that the people donated. So now, as we are growing, the structures, we have those structures. I mean, the separation of duty, which means that there is a treasurer, there is a financial secretary, and then there's a secretary, and all that. We keep them as apart from each other. Nobody can sign the check and go and cash the check. It's a learning curve. We learn it through the hard way because we had a lot of dodgy people, and that which we as people have decided to vote them out and to push them out. So now so that was the first phase, and then it wasn't enough. Brilliantly, this was not my idea. This wasn't the idea. The president came up with the idea of the draft. Let me tell you, if the Amba peace plan was brilliant to bring the structures in place, then there was that brilliant idea.
Bruce, I'm sorry. Before we get to the draft, is there any way, was there any link between the APP and the ASSC? Because all these ones took place in
Oh, sure,
2019.
sure,
We
sure.
started the draft
Look,
in 2020. Okay.
okay, good, sure. We had ASSC 1 that was in April 2018, right? So what happened was during that, you don't even know the headers who came through. When when the president announced that we can't have a very beautiful plan like this without going to grace it, without bringing Ambazonia to come and endorse it, because we needed that in Ambazonians to come and say, this is what we want, this is the master plan,
Right.
this is the strategy we need to get to where. So we were very lucky in one way or the other, unfortunately the other way. At that time, we had this guy in Kodenge and in South Africa. They were trying to plan their whatever APNC, right? Let me tell
Yeah.
you, I spent 36 hours or more of distraction emanating from where? From useless meetings, which I was dragged into with questions like, we should be able to endorse the APNC. We should be able to combine the APNC with ASSC1. We should be able to combine SCBC with ABC. So, I mean, these were things that when I look back, I said, I wasted 36 hours of my life arguing people to say, these things are not related, right? You taking a private TV and you want to merge it with a state TV. Show us the document of incorporation that it belongs to the people of Ambazonia. Then we are happy to merge these two. Okay? APNC, you're bringing APNC in. If a group of people decide they want to organize their district, must we as a cabinet endorse it? Sorry, we have the ASSC1 we were preparing for, because at that time we were going through elections of LGHs, going through election of county chairs, building those things. A threshold where we wanted to hit a threshold of 24 to 30 constituted LGAs, which means they are there, they have the executive, they have people who are contributing. We wanted to hit that magic number before we go to the AS1. So, I mean, the LGA, the Amba Peace Plan, could only receive that platform, which it received in Berlin, in that conference, if we did our job to be able to make sure that we build the LGAs and the counties. So we got the ASSC1 because we needed to be able to launch this master plan and to be able to pull Ambazonians together, into one platform and tell them we have a tool. We have a tool. If we use this tool successfully, it is going to lead us to Boya. And that we did in a grand style. Thank you.
That was really in a grand style, Secretary Ambrose. I can attest to that because I was there. I was the one who labeled all the tables according to the counties and the LGAs. I was the one who did
Great
the
job.
placard.
Great job. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was there and I witnessed everything when the counties came out, and I also witnessed where the president decorated every LGA representative that was there with the Amazonian brochure and everything. I was there. It was a wonderful occasion. And really, I can say, when the foundation, the word of God says, when the foundation is destroyed, what will the righteous do? But what I can say is that in this sense, the righteous laid a good foundation. That is why no matter how hard some people are working to destroy this, whatever it our APP structure, it can't work because the foundation, that the thought that came, the conception, the initiating birthing spirit that took place was a good one that laid the foundation. That is why we are still here today. So, fellow Amazonians, you will be listening more and more of what our honorable secretary is here to tell us. Just share the link, invite friends, because there are many things that we can only learn from those who were there from the beginning. And I want to assure you that you are just learning from a great mind. You are getting informed from a great mind that has come a very long way. It's not just talking, it's the reality, it's what it's there. So what you are listening to through the horizon, please mark it somewhere, keep it somewhere, and I will urge the ABC TV to replay, to rebroadcast this session, because people did not know how Amber Peace Plan was born, how it led to ASSC 1. People just attended APP 2. They did not understand where it really came from. Really, this is a it's a masterpiece what we're having today. I
Thank
will
you.
make it,
Thank
I
you.
will call it myself. I want to really, really thank you again, Honorable Secretary, for making our time for this. So we have been able to talk about the APP and the realization of the ASSC one, because we wanted to show, not to show, but to really see, make sure that this platform, and it worked. I was there, I saw it, and I participated. Thank you very much. And let's just move on, ladies and gentlemen, and able honorable secretary. Yeah, there were some resolutions that were implemented that came out from the Berlin, that caused, yeah, we've been able to touch them. But how can you then attribute the implementations that came out from Berlin through the lava storm that we have today to the support of home front and all those things? There may be repetitions, ladies and gentlemen, but it's for emphasis that we get to understand how one thing is linked to the other. So bear with us, and so that you can be enriched more and more. So those
Okay. Good.
implementations from
Let me chime
ASSC
in.
1. Yes.
Let me chime in. We went into AASC 1 with a zeal and determination to be able to really like propel the structures we have in place, and then give them the firm foundation, and also to be able to support our president to make sure that the IG has the foundation from grassroots, the pillars from the counties, to be able to sustain that house, to be able to sustain the big society ambassador. We got to Berlin, and the people voted for lots of these resolutions I will put forward. One that I'm going to take is the people decided that um, we should have representatives from these new structures, the LGAs, sitting there at that in the House of Representatives. At that time, it was a Restoration Council, the defunct Restoration Council, which was good because you needed a voice of the people to be right there where decisions and laws are made. So that was one of the main resolution. Then the second one was we wanted the ground to be hot. We wanted lava to flow. And that way, I think all LGAs decided to make a contribution, a minimum contribution. It was 2,000, if I'm not mistaken, it was $2,000 per LGA, plus what we, the representative, came there, plus the fundraising. We decided that we wanted to form a federal marshal, which should be able to intervene in specific tactical missions. I'm glad the LGAs, the counties did not disappoint. The individuals who came to Berlin like you did not disappoint. We all contributed to raise these monies so that we could be able to have something we say is our federal marshal, which unfortunately I can't tell you details now, but I can tell you this project was entrusted to the former Vice President, Abongo Harrison, and John Igewan, of which we only heard stories upon stories upon stories, and the over 100,000, we don't know where it is today. Even a single stick you can't see, nor a single granite. It's a shame, but the whole thing is these are the dodgy people we have, the dodgy John and the dodgy Harrison, whatever. So that was one of the projects we came out from Berlin. And then we also came out from Berlin giving the president the mandate to be able to change the leadership of the revolution, to be able to change the, what how we call the cabinet. We gave him that mandate to reshuffle the cabinet. Yeah, some of us were lucky to be kept, but he did his best to make sure that people like Kalesh Bongo, who were recalcitrant, there were so many people who were thrown out, Yerima and all the Lima, at that time, under secretary, you know. So he did his best to set up this. And then we also said, let these people he's appointing, let them go through the House of Representatives and be vetted, so that at least we know that they are contributing in their RGS, they are contributing the citizenship levy, and they are part of the struggle. Let them not just be there in the cabinet just because they are having a favor of being appointed or not, because we wanted people who connect with the grassroots. Then another resolution which came out, which was the beautiful one, with actually where you are the other secretary now, I'm pleased to see that we wanted to have a women's affairs department. At that time, that what we suggested, a women's affairs department, because we saw the power of our women and we saw the good they were doing for the internally displaced. Which, I mean, the projects you people were doing, amazing project for the internally displaced, amazing project for the refugees, amazing project. Which, I mean, I always respect you for what you've been doing for the prisoners of war. You know, no matter what, I always respect you for that, because I know if it has to come to the prisoners, I needed to turn to you. Unfortunately, last time I came to you, you pointed me somewhere else. It's great. You move on to a better place and you're pushing on the struggle. That is what we want. These are the type of changes we want to embrace, and these are the type of people with the caliber we want to see evolve, moving from one function to the other and continue to work harder. You know, not that you move people from one place to the other and they suffer from Bristol despondency because the shoes are too big for them. They begin to float inside the shoes. You are not doing that. You're just doing the best. You know, I don't know where you get all the time to be able to do that. But again, talking of time, let me tell you, this question, this thing I want to resolve now and forever is on the situation of me resigning. That was very clear. I was completely exhausted. And I put in more than, let me just say, I put in more than 2,800 hours day in 24/7. I had no life in order to make sure that the Amba peace plan is implemented, that people are voted and put into RGS. I was having meetings every day, every single day. And worst year, I was lecturing at City University. I mean, the whole thing is, it's just that because you lecture, you just have some few hours. I was exhausted. I think I'm happy that I took that conscious decision to step back, because maybe I would have dropped dead because it was unwavering. I had meetings upon meetings. I received 36,000 messages, WhatsApp messages, and I responded to all of these 36,000. Whether be it from ground zero, be it from where, the number of calls I was receiving, I mean, it was unprecedented. No human being. I know even the president is going through all of this, but sincerely, I made sure I'm somebody, I'm thorough in what I'm doing. I make sure I respond to every message insofar as it is coming from Ambazonian. Of course, there are insulting messages that come from La Republic agent. Those one I don't bother. But for Ambazonian, concerned Ambazonians in ground zero in the diaspora, I make sure I did my best. I'm glad today that when I stepped back, I went back to my RGA. I've always been there anyway, not that I went back. I went back to my RGA and continue to work with the people to make sure that we are in line, we are in sync with the other RGAs, with the county, to make sure that we are pushing this liberation struggle. But getting there and meeting an RGA chair who is lackadaisical in the way he's doing things, underachiever at the level of the RGA, underachiever at the level of the county, we needed to a change. And if we are where we are today, I mean, it's a revolution we started from my RGA. The people decided to say, we voted you, we don't want you, and then we chop them out, vomit them out, throw them, and then we have a new executive. But that is not easy for us because with the new executive, these people we vomited out are doing everything possible to make sure that they stifle the efforts of the new executive. But by the grace of God and by the grace of our ancestors who are looking at us, saying these people, this generation of people who have come up today to say, no, no to the bad roads going to Ngi, no to the underdevelopment in our RGA, no to the underdevelopment in our county, no to the underdevelopment in our big society Ambazonian. We are standing tall and will continue to stand tall to make sure that we flush French Cameroon from our territory. We'll start from here, we'll push to Momo, we'll push to Mengwe, we'll push through Njikwa, work with Njikwa, work with Widikum and all that to make sure that we flush all the dodgy people out of our country and we flush the enemy out of our country. So, my dear people, I will keep on working. I'm a representative of my people, and I'm also a representative for you people, the big society Ambazonian. Feel free, call me at any time. I'm ready to give my own piece of advice. I'm ready to support financially. I'm blessed that the Lord has given me a good job that I can be able to really contribute to the struggle, which is good. And that is what I wish for every Ambazonian who is in the diaspora contributing, that the Lord continue to bless you, continue to give you more so that you can be able to support. I think I went out of the rail, but let me focus again. Thank you.
It is necessary because every person kept saying, some people kept saying, but Secretary Ambrose never tell you the reason why he be resigned that first time. I beg, mommy and papa, them brother and sister, them, would I don't hear the way Secretary Ambrose don't talk. Really, for me, it not strange because person go ask yourself, say, now which time where you did, you get na how many hours pikin that the one go school, you get to attend parents teachers meeting, you get to attend your matrimonial duties, you get to attend civil duties, you get to attend the one for the country where you dey plus the Ambazonia own, you get to meet up financially, you get to meet up in all of those places, you get to, that is, do missed calls, messages. That is, I just thought say na because God appoints some of the people. That's why they talk say, make sure say when you dey get 300 and something or 336,000 messages, make sure say you dey answer them in good faith. Make sure say you dey answer them for take the people then go na boya. Because if you dey get this amount of missed calls and text messages, but you are working under the table to take people to slavery and bondage, no say your place for hellfire go hot. Fire the hot, but the place they will put you there go hot because Ambazonian mommy them, Ambazonian papa them, Ambazonian women that they bury their husbands, that they lay costs, that they lay costs where anything where you go to do them, you know go fit get benefit. So make sure say, I don't want to call people that name them because when man they call their name, then they think say they don't do na some bad thing. But one of our person be tell we say the fact say that they call devil every time, it not mean I say that they make devil relevant. No, now because they would make a make them know say the devil is still in the He never rest. He dey still waka dey look for who to devour. So if we dey call some of these people their names na because say make una know say they are still out there waiting to steal our money, waiting to crack into our structures, waiting to steal our boys, our restoration forces, make dem no do the diligent work wey dem wan do. Na the reason that we dey call their name. But we no go dwell on them too much. But if e happen, we will call their name because so that may we continue remember say if you wan be one of these crazy people the way they don defile our society, you can change. You can say, hey, make dem no dey call my name for bad thing o. I no wan make dem disgrace my name. So abeg, all these things wey we dey talk am for horizon for here today, wey Secretary Ambrose don come for can talk for the Ambazonian people, na to say make we know some of the origin of the thing dem. Now so I go still like you, Secretary Ambrose, you have outlined some of the difficulties that were there. Challenges are everywhere. Blessings come with challenges. APP, ASSC, one, and the implementation. So how far the what have been some of the difficulties, to fully implement? You've named them. Rope
Okay,
people that
okay.
took place, in the LGA. What are some of them,
Now
and
it's
what have you know, what have you
sincerely,
what do you yeah.
we had a lot of difficulties in the implementation, because there were a lot of individuals without the good faith. They were power mongers. They were just there just because they were looking at the money that it will be coming in, and they were looking at the positions and all like that. Was difficult, and I'm telling you, we did a lot of top stuff this time around. We've been able to lay down and the terms of reference of the urges and terms of references of the counties. So everything is clearly outlined, be it the standard, be it the procedures, we have them in place. It took us a long time together with Dr. Pote and some other members of the APP committee to set those things down, but we've done that. We only think that we can only be stronger down the line. So what we are expecting now going forward is a crusade of recruiting or bringing those genuine people who has been disenfranchised because of the dodgy ones we had among ourselves. We are going to do a crusade now to reach out to all the members of our constituencies and all the like, to make sure that we bring them on board and we continue to be able to push our liberation struggle. It's going to be a tough one. It's not going to be a right in the park, but I'm telling you, we're going to work ourselves off with the other people in the interim House of Representatives, working together with our LGA chairs and the LGA executive to make sure that we make our D structure stronger, and also in so doing making our IG stronger, the big society and Ambazonia stronger. That way, we're going to stable the train. We're going to make sure we provide for our Ambazonian Restoration Forces on the home front, and we're going to make sure that we give a run for the money of French Cameroon soldiers there. But I know they are not going to survive a long time because French Cameroon is in debt. They can't keep those soldiers on the field for long. That is why you see them, they are looting everywhere they go, because salaries have not been paid and they can't even go again for years without their salary being paid. For those who keep on selling food to them, please make sure you ration that food. Sell it to our people rather than selling it to them, because they will eat that food and still get the energy to come and kill our people. Thank you.
Yes, if I can get from there, you have been able to outline some of the mechanisms that have been put in place to safeguard what we are trying to gather through our fundraising, our draft in the county and LGA and everything. But then there is still, we have our institutions like the ABC, where we still have the challenge there, and we still we still have moat and power mongers who may be hiding somewhere in the house and may still be working hard, to destroy the determination of the APP. So I would just really want you to encourage or to bolster the Amazonian people, to let them just give some other
Okay.
highlights yeah, that the people will be
I
confident.
think
You know,
those who attended the Amba Peace Plan yesterday should reassure that we are working hard in the backstage anyway, using the knowledge we have, those of us in information security and all the like, and those in the legal department to make sure that we protect our institutions. Again, you knew that we are lucky to be having this ABC Amber here because, again, because of the Amazonian Foundation. If we didn't have this under Amazonian Foundation, we would have been maybe unable to reach our people because of the rogue individuals who were at the head. So now the president is doing a lot of things in order to make sure that we restructure and make sure we have a grip on everything you trust, but you verify. Because it has always been the fact of we trust, we never verify. You understand? So
mhm.
we are doing everything possible to make sure that we keep on doing the best thing we can do in order to get to where we want to get to. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
Amazonian
structures are
people.
there. The structures are there, and the whole thing is when the dodgy ones are all out, then the funds we are raising, especially for the lava storm and for the draft 2022 draft, which is coming on, our people on the ground will be able to see a difference. Just excuse me for 1 minute, please. Just a break. Marasha, just a break, please.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Amazonians, we don dey hear how our honourable secretary dey talk for here. The thing na say this race, I fit call am say na race. You see the thing wey e dey go on. Na papa for pikin, e no only concentrate for im own pikin dem wey dey for house, e still concentrate for the other pikin dem wey dey for home front for make sure say make the structures wey we dey put am for down make e function, make e work, because as e stand no be everybody go get the opportunity for come for one man country. Whether I fit call am say na opportunity o, I no know whether na opportunity, but den make I just talk say no be everybody go get go fit come for one man country here for come raise some of the money. I believe say the thing wey God do am for we Amazonian people dem na just for say e make sure say e divide this responsibility. E leave the ones dem wey dey stay for home front, dey dey fight. E bring some of one dem wey dey can work, even dey get salary every time wey dey go fit make provision for farm tools, for defence tools. E send different person for im own place make e do the things. So na why that way you see even when we dey for live show like this, our pikin dem dey still come dey say papa I want this, mama I want this. My own dem na say dem don big, so at least dem don understand. Even na before wey no go dey, twins dem go dey run around here, you no fit stop dem. So we appreciate every person wey e dey lis ten to us now, because this show no be for say na the thing, because we know some of the things dem we dey happy for share so that make all we be strong, so that together we go fit reach Boya. And the
Yeah.
work never easy. It has not been easy. So honourable secretary, the floor is still yours.
Oh, sorry for that. I'm glad to be back again. My second daughter was a bit annoying, but again, she's gone downstairs, which is good. So let's continue from there. The whole stuff is I want to talk about the draft, which has been a good instrument for us. Many urges, many counties actually benefited from it, and we could be able to see in 2019 the what we achieved as a people. I mean, how hot the ground was. I could feel it even in my RGA one incident, and then there were other RGAs and other counties which we remain proud. Mui County made us very proud. The Indian County also made us very proud. There were issues, there were actions in Fako, action. I mean, all over the territory, able to make show something for the money we raised. Of course, we lost lots of money to dodgy deals and all the like, to dodgy deals and all the like. We just hope that this time around, we're going to be more effective. We're going to be more efficient in using those monies. So, and this led us now to the long-awaited ASSC 2. But again, you wouldn't know the amount of work which the Amazonian people, respect to those county chairs, respect to head of committees. It was weeks and weeks of deliberations and weeks of looking at documents line by line with the Constitution, together with Dr. Lobati, the Speaker of the House. I'm glad she invited me to join that committee. We went through the Constitution line by line, article by article, verse by verse, to make sure we fully understand the Constitution, look at these loopholes which were exploited by the former chair of the Defund Restoration Council and the rest for their own benefits, because you needed to see what are the roles and responsibilities of the representative of the interim House of Representatives. What are their rules and responsibilities, so that people cannot be able to abuse it. There were people like Barrister Ghana who were working hard on the Constitution in itself, because they have the legal minds. And then I was also privileged to join the team which was working on the Amba Peace Plan. I mean, it was session after session, which Dr. Ipote from the chair of Kupen Manenguba led. She did a brilliant job. I mean, I know she's a professor because she merits it. You know, she used that talent, she used that wisdom to be able to make sure that we brought in the new terms of responsibilities of the LGA, terms
Yeah,
of reference for the LGA.
yeah.
So it's a great job, and I'm glad that the resolutions that came up from there just reflected the work we put in, the shift we put in to be able to get to where we are. During that process, I will also say, as an individual, I've always stood for the IG, and I will always stand for the IG. And that during that period of time, that is where I had the highest attacks from individuals who at that time were still before that I thought they were still with the internal government, you know, and they thought somebody, you come and push me over, oh, come out, do this. I was invited to ABS and by Secretary Chris to come and talk there. I told him if I want to have a debate, because we've been having conversations at the background, and with him focusing on, oh, nothing is happening on ground zero, this and all the other talks about a ring and all that. I told him, my brother, the only thing is you have a family, you have a wife, you have children. If there are issues in your house, you don't go and stand on the street and be shouting. You come, bring them down, you sit down, and then you talk these things out. This is not going to be different from the internal government. It's a house. You know, if there are issues in the house, we sit down, trash these issues, and resolve them. Because there is no family, no matter how small it is, or no matter how big it is, that they don't have fights and they don't resolve these fights. They do. You know, I could growing up, I could see my parents, they could argue, I could see other things happen, but the whole thing is they always resolve their issues, and we can't act differently. We can't act differently. Okay, sorry. We
Ladies
can't
and
act differently.
gentlemen,
I told him that I'm not coming to let us do this. I told him, yes, no, with no disrespect to you, I want to have a debate. I really wanted to have a debate with him. I told him I need a female moderator on ABC, which is a People's TV. Let us go there and have a civilized debate between two honorable individuals, between two patriots. That he turned down. That he turned down. Because what I wanted the people to see is that no matter our differences, we can always sit down and resolve these issues. No way. If you run away from your problems, they will always follow you. That is the problem. So literally what he was doing, he's run away from his problem. And a lot of other people, they kept on sending links for me to join their meetings and all that. But again, I stand for the interim government because it's built by the people. They went to Nigeria, they decided to say, bring everything, dissolve the SCACO, form the interim government. And that's what we believe in. There no, let me just tell you, there is a singer or frontline leader, as they call themselves, of this liberation struggle who has not been to the UK. We've done everything as the Southern Cameroon community, UK. We started with Milan. We brought Milan here. Comrade Milan, we brought him here. We contributed money. We raised funds, gave it to support the ACBC. Okay, we brought Akwanga here. We brought Dr. Cho Ayaba here. We brought who? We brought Sisiko here. We brought Dr. Kasa Anyong, Professor Kasa Anyong. There is Mbohabet, everybody. The Southern Cameroon Community UK has done everything to contribute to bring these people here. And all we've spoken is let us support what we have. Because if this IG was not so important to the people of Ambazonia, if this IG was not so important to La Republic, they will not go and arrest a whole cabinet in Nigeria. You know, they will not go and pay law firms. They will not go and pay law firms in New York to be able to sabotage us. They will not pay law firms in New York to be able to lobby for them. So the IG is so special, and there can be nothing more than this IG for us. Thank you.
Yes, this is really true. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Amazonians, we are drawing closer, and duty calls, family calls is also here. Our honorable secretary has a lot to tell us, to share with us. He's really an encyclopedia in all of these things. You can hear the number of people that the community UK has been able to raise, has been able to welcome. But secretary, before, oh, our baby, I think I cannot
Yeah,
have
I
her
think
cry.
it was wrong time.
Yes,
8 p.m. is always the best time for us to have
yes,
this chat because by then they would have gone to
yes.
bed. Yeah.
To beg, yeah, please. I would really beg the indulgence of our people that the baby should not cry, though many of our babies are crying. And yeah, we wouldn't mind to have her not to cry. Baby, please don't. We are with you, okay? Don't stay with daddy. Stay with daddy and look at me. Look at me. I'm greeting you. Hi. Let them hang. Let them stay on. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what they want. Just a
Okay.
little cuddle.
As I was saying, yeah,
Yes.
you stay quiet and you
Mm-hmm.
don't cry. So the best time we always have these things is 8 p.m. By then they're in bed. But again, that is what let Amazonians understand what we go through to be able to make sure that we keep the flames of the revolution burning. You understand? We are stars and we
Yeah.
need to make this shine. And we can't light a light and put it under the bed. We must put it on top of the
Not at
mountain so
all.
that the people should see. So in terms of diplomacy, this is something I wanted to touch with you before I go. I think this is
Sorry.
the time for us in every country. I think we had that discussion already. In every country, to make sure that we start engaging with different members of parliaments, we start engaging with the local people, because that awareness we started creating before the pandemic, we should be able to bring it back. We were thrown back 2 years back because of the pandemic, because we couldn't be able to go out, we couldn't be able to meet people, and government were focused on different things. Now is the time for Ambazonia to shine. Now is the time for us to turn their attention to the ongoing Wadoko genocide in southern Cameroon. Yeah, every day I see pictures of people who have been killed, and I don't know when it's going to stop. So we can't stop until this stops. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our honorable secretary of the interim House of Representative. The thing is that there are lots of things that have taken place. I was so happy that the thing is that we are getting to rush it, but I believe our Amazonian people are getting it, because you were at most of the committees, the APP committee, the constitutional committee, the restoration draft. What was it again? Yeah, the four
Well,
committees.
the
Yeah,
resolution committee, I couldn't join
yeah,
because again I was already overwhelmed with that. I think
yeah,
Comrade Steve did a great job writing the resolution,
yeah,
and Comrade Steve has always led the resolutions, and most of the document is good at writing anyway. Most of the documents, Secretary Steve has been writing those documents which we present. I mean, we always he has a group of intellectuals who sit and to make sure we draft these things. These are people at the backstage doing a lot of things, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
While talking with Mawini earlier on, she raised this a point of the necessity. Raised some points of saying the necessity at that time, letting the old go so that the new could come in, so we could forge forward. I would just like you to say, what is your take in the creating of the interim House of Reps, including the name and the people that are there now, compared to the last house that was just mishmash?
So
Let me say it this way.
it's very clear. I was one of the advocates of that name change, and I was one of the advocate of the composition, the change in who is there in that house, because the way the house was, we had people in that house who were representing who, representing nobody. You understand? They were people from how do you call it, civil society or whatever. So I said, let this house be the house of people representing people on the grassroots. Let it be a house whereby if you are in there, you know you have a constituency which is yours that you are representing. So that is why we chopped it up and said all the 61 LGAs have a right to send a member into the house. Now, we've restored our independence. Why would we keep on saying a restoration council? It doesn't make sense to anybody. You know, we brainstorm. Let me just say, we said, okay, let it be um, um, interim house of representative, which was one suggestion. The other one was the house of liberation, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
there were other, but people settled for the interim House of Representatives, which was the rightful one. I think the president gave some logic about it, about the House of Honorable Joa, which was already there. So let us get it, and which is important for us now. It is not just the House right now; it is what we do as people who are in there, because all the honorables who are in there, all the people who have been voted in there, these are men of integrity. These are men who will not turn back and sell this IG. You understand? They are there to make
Mm-hmm.
laws, to make sure these laws, they are there to defend the constitution. If you are not in there to defend the constitution, then there is no need for you to be there. You are there to make sure that we forge our way to Boya. When we get it, it is interim. When we get to Boya, of course, we have a House of Representatives whereby Ground Zero is going to take full control and elect people and send into that house, and we will continue to be able to govern our country the way we want it to be governed, making sure the people are there, the voice of the people is heard everywhere they go. You know, of course, we have a lot of dreams for Ambazonia, and I believe these dreams will be realized because of the potential of those on the ground and also of those in the diaspora. If we combine these two together, plus our resources, our human resources, and plus our agricultural resources, plus other resources that we have in our land, I'm telling you, it will not take us 10 years to be the London of Africa anyway.
Yes, thank you, Honorable. I remember you made mention already of how before the pandemic we were doing lots of diplomatic work out there, writing letters, going on embassies and places that matter like Amnesty International, the Commonwealth. You've mentioned that for those in the diaspora. What encouraging words can you give to those on ground, home front? How can they hold on to, what can they be doing on their own part, concerning with our boys or whatever that you think you can. What can you chip in without really giving out, you know,
Now, what I can say
what
is
yeah.
coming coming out of the ASSC two. I mean, we are buoyant in the sense of it is through those meetings that even my time when I was the Secretary of State, I didn't fully understand the capability, the capacity of the individuals who are behind supporting this liberation struggle. When you now look, we have quality. I mean, these people, they are ranging from ages from 30 to 80 years old. These are individuals who are doing so much in terms of to finance this liberation struggle. So it's hopeful. I'm really very hopeful because the quality is now showing. Those who always focus on activists, the activists, and those who make the loudest noises, sincerely, if you check the bank accounts, they don't contribute a penny to the liberation struggle. What we did, let me just tell you, what we did with the Amba Peace Plan, what we are doing with our structures has cut the sources of money they used to get for free. It's £100 here, £100 there, they sum it up. At the end of the month, they are getting 70 or they are getting 7,000, 8,000, which they do not give any accountability. They may decide to send 1,000 to the Amazonian Restoration Forces and put 6,000 in their pockets. How would you know that? But right now, the monies have started going through the right channels. Of course, you may hate me, you may like me, but the whole thing is we like structures. And these structures are the ones that are going to lead us down to Boya. Without these structures, sorry, we are going to be in a chaotic environment. And that's not what I want. I'd like to work in a constrained environment. It's real. It's reality for me. I want to be pragmatic in everything I do. So I just believe you and many others who have worked in corporate environment know what it means for us to make sure that we 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 organize and then we push our struggle.
Thank you, Honorable. Let me just come in here with something. Some people, myself and some many people who ask me the question that we are not saying that the um, interim House of Representatives will defunct the Restoration Council with the word restoration that we've already restored our in, our independence. Why do we keep restoration forces? So I got a very brilliant idea from a very brilliant person that we all listen to, and who talks to us. I will not call it out. It says this is because we restored Amazonia politically on the 1st of
Yes.
October 2017. But our territory is still under occupation, so our military can still be known as Amazonia Restoration Forces without contradiction.
No, I
So
would
I
not
just want,
differ from that. Sincerely, I would have given you the
yeah,
same answer. The third pattern,
hmm,
we of course we talk about this thing, we argue about these things, right? There were people
yeah,
saying, okay, we need to change that, but it was very clear from onset that they
right,
have army camps all over the place. They have installations all over the place. Until we flush them out,
yeah,
we cannot say we have fully restored our land. You understand? The very
exactly,
moment
yeah,
we flush them out from 2, 3, 4 counties, we cannot change our name and say we are the liberation forces. But again, right now, let's restore it. Let's work hard to restore it. Let's support them. Of
exactly,
course, they can't do it this alone. They are
yeah,
brave enough to be doing things, but let us give them the materials to go and work. You know.
yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you very much. I think I can say we have really tried to exhaust what we had on our plate, but notwithstanding, I would still just like you to say what is the roadmap for victory for the Amazonian people?
Okay, this is a good one which I would like to answer and answer with a lot of intent, with a lot of caution. Right? There is this thing you say you start small, you scale, and then you grow bigger. Right? We started
Mm-hmm.
small and we continue to keep small. We continue to develop the capabilities we have, be it on the ground, be in the diaspora. We continue to move at a pace which will be because our intention is to make sure we synchronize what is happening on the ground with what is happening in the diaspora. As we are pushing politically in the diaspora, we are also pushing on the ground to make sure that the ground is hot. But we can't do this without strategies. So we have the strategies in place. I'm not a military individual. I'm not going to say any military tactics here. We have these strategies, and then we'll be able to make sure that we execute them. But again, there are strategies in place.
Well, I share,
Yeah.
Papa.
Yeah.
And the same of
Thank you.
thinking. Well, I share. Na so they, na so the fight and home front,
So
fight
their
and even for
strategies and thing
diaspora.
is that
Yeah.
we must make sure as a people, it's very clear, we must make sure as a people we re-engage. I'll call it re-engage because most of us have already engaged with our MPs. Maybe they have forgotten. Let's re-engage with our members of parliament. Let's re-engage with the senators. Let us do something. I know at the level of the interim government, there are also people working hard to make sure that they are on the corridors of the Congress, which is good. We are going to do the same thing here in the UK. We're going to make sure that there are people on the halls of Whitehall. There are people in the Commons who are making sure our voices are heard. We're going to do more. Trust me. I'm healthy. Trust me, lots are healthy. Tomorrow we are holding a Southern Cameroon Community UK meeting, face-to-face meeting, one of our second face-to-face meeting. These are things that we're going to deliberate there, and these are things that we're going to push through. We'll keep on working. That's all. Until our people are free.
Thank you, Honorable Secretary. I can really say the UK has been doing great job with people like you and Dr. Mbua and Lee and many others behind that Ma Floor, I cannot give all the names, people who've decided to stand with the truth and be on the right track. The list is just so endless. If I want Nijo, Ma Nijo, and all these wonderful people that
Yeah,
we have in
you've
the UK
forgotten
that like to stand.
Patala,
Yeah.
Uncle Phil from
Yeah,
Bamendakwe.
Uncle Phil.
He's
Oh, yeah, Uncle Phil too. That's why if I was just, yeah. Let me not
yeah.
call names because you all know yourself and I
There are a
hold my
lot.
high
There's
esteem.
General Fombat.
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
lot
it's
of them.
one powerful
Yeah,
one. Uncle Phil,
if I
just a
want
lot
to
of
call
people.
all, yeah, we may not really finish here
Yeah.
today. UK,
So I'm happy
Southern
that
Cameroon.
lot of them have indicated, Dr. Ekiko and other, the senior citizens, most of them are indicated to be there. So we really going to sit down.
With
Again, we only
with
operate because we
Fombat,
plan.
Commandant Fombat, yeah, it too. I remember
Yeah.
him for the when
So
it comes
we're
to
going to put
security
a
side.
roadmap on what we want to do in UK, and then we'll share with you in Europe, and then we'll begin to push on. So that's the most
Yeah,
important thing.
we
I'm
need
glad
it.
that you're doing a great job.
We need it. Thank you very much. And it was really great having you. I just want to reiterate some few things that just to let the Amazonian people know that how you see the way our honorable secretary is pulling it here. I wish our baby would have been sleeping. We could have had gone into it, and our time is also well spent. And then home front, we are with you all the time. We remember you.
Sure.
We try to raise that which you need. We stand in prayers with you. We stand in awe in every way that we can do, so that that homeland should be liberated completely. No barracks from our enemy and nothing, and all the coopers and what dirty money they have gone to take. We pray that the I don't know what will happen. Only God alone knows what will happen with them. But we pray that for those of us who are still standing, we should take heed and stand properly so that the soil should not be pulled under our feet. And we pray that God will continue to uphold us. We thank you for taking the office in the interim House of Representatives. The people called you. We thank the Ngi people to have selected a fine one in amongst the many, the best they sent, and thank the Amazonian people for being able to know that this is those that are in that house to be able to sort you out, for your works. It's not because we are singing praises, but should be given to where it is due. And we want to thank all those that are with you in the interim House of Representatives, especially the women, the mothers that are there. I will never forget. I will always call them. Ma Winnie was here today. The next day, I will be bringing I'll be inviting the women in the House of Reps, so that they will be able to communicate with their grassroots because
That Esther from Boya
yeah,
LG. Yeah, she's a
yeah,
lovely lady.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, and
Okay.
and even the vice speaker will soon be coming up here. Also, I will have to send him an invitation to also come and speak like a father, a husband, an uncle to a woman, because this is the voice of the woman sent out there, even through our fathers and our husbands, our brothers. So everyone in that your house, the interim house, they will come and talk here to their people through the women's channel. This
Oh,
is what I'm
oh, that's
just saying.
beautiful.
La-
That's beautiful.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. So when you are holding some of the meetings, begin to remind them that please, if you are invited, don't turn it down because the daughters will be angry, the wives will be angry. You go and answer the call and talk to the people through the women. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an evening well spent with Honorable House Speaker Dr. Mawini Lubatija left for work. You see, our Honorable Secretary General, the work is already around him. They're touching the ears and the eyes and the mouth and everything because mom is at work. You see, these are some of the things that we also go through here. Even me, people are standing in front of me waiting for me to finish and to come and do what I'm supposed to also do. Just that they are mature, they are behaving themselves, but we have to keep pushing because when God calls you, He gives you the power. And we also appreciate our President Dr. Ikomesako, the chief, what was that thing again? CIC um, of the Amazonian, uh, um,
Commander in Chief. Yeah.
yeah, Commander in
Commander in
Chief.
Chief of Air
We
Forces.
salute him. Yes. Oh, yeah. You know that one well. We salute the mama also in his house, our sister, the wife, the first lady, for being there and standing very tall behind him and taking care. You know, the children also hang around him all the time like this. He's a father, he's a husband. They have to fulfill these responsibilities as well and still do for the Ambazonian people. Still attend meetings. Please, if there's one thing you are missing, don't miss the town halls on Thursdays. Don't. Town hall, that is where you get all the information that nobody will be able to deceive you from them. Attend your town hall. The president is there to answer your questions. The secretary of state of every department, the house speakers are there. The house representatives are there. If you are not clear, put up your hand, raise your hand manually or through your virtual. Raise your hand, you'll be called and given the opportunity to speak your mind. Amazonia is an open society. We have to listen to everyone we talk. Attend the town halls on Thursday. Don't miss an appointment with the president. And if you are a prayer person, there's the upper prayer house with Pastor Victor, Pastor Commando. Don't miss the prayer point because it's only God that will sail us through. If you are a woman, don't miss the mountaintop women house. Look for it, ask for it. Ma Doro, myself, Ma Patience, Ma Irene, Ma Winnie, all these Ma's that you know, ask them. You'll be connected. It's every day for the women. If you cannot attend on Monday, you attend on Tuesday. If you cannot attend on Tuesday, at least one day in a week, 6 p.m. Amber time. You will have a link in any of the women fora and just click in. You see sisters standing in the gap for Amazonia. Every woman is welcome. Remember when Rachel was crying for her children in Ramallah, God listened to her. He listened to her cry and liberated the people of Israel. When Esther stepped out, that is how she liberated her people. When Deborah stepped out, she was able. Her people were delivered. So, which woman? When Mary Magdalene, they were the first ones to see the resurrected Jesus. Who knows if you start praying, is you that God will tell you the day that this our sovereignty will be landed unto us. And when you say it, people will believe you. You say He has given power to anyone. So our revolution, our struggle is for everyone. It's for everyone that is of a good setting that we get to Boya, not to go to Bia, to go to Boya. So make it a duty to say, I want to go to Boya and not to Bia. Let nobody stay with their big voice, their big faces, their strong voices from what they have eaten from the table of the enemy, from the crumbs of the enemy to tell you that the government idea was a wrong thing. It's the government that La Republique is so afraid of, that they want to
Yeah,
make
sure,
us look
sure.
like a group. They are so afraid of you saying that we're a government, because that was the same government that they thought they did everything to destroy it in the days of Joa. So in their nightmare, they see another government coming. They are so confused that they are doing everything, paying everybody, even to destroy their own country, not to have any financial means to destroy your own government. But please don't be a party to those who will sell your birthright for a bowl of soup, like what Esau did. He sold his birthright with a bowl of soup to say, "Give me soup." Okay, if I give you this soup, you drink am, you go deny saying that you be first speaking. He said yes. He took it and he sold his birthright. Do you really want to sell your birthright as an Amazonian? You have to think about it again and come home. Ladies and
Thank you so
gentlemen,
much
I will
for
give
that,
a last
Marashe.
word.
I hope our people are listening. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, Honorable, I'll give you one word, 1 minute for one word, so you say it to the people, then we close.
Well, if there's anything I have to tell the people is stay positive, stay resolute, and believe in your children you send abroad, and to be able to make sure that they will be able to support the other ones who are left behind defending. And there's only one thing: there's only victory we will count for. Voting as winners, sure that Ambazonian is free, and it can only be freed by us. There's nobody who is going to come from somewhere to free us. We are doing it here. We hope that our brothers and sisters, the Ambazonian Restoration Forces, who are watching us today, who are watching me today, and this is not the last time I'm coming to talk to you, but I'm just telling you, believe in us, believe in the genuine people. And there are a lot of dodgy people who are causing a lot of carnage. But believe in us, we'll continue to support you, and we'll continue to make sure that you get what you have to be able to liberate our people. We trust in you, we believe in you, and we'll continue to trust in you. For those in the diaspora, I would say you need to trust, but you need to verify, because there are a lot of dodgy people around. Be careful. Thank you. I'll
Thank you
leave it
very
here.
much, Honorable Secretary. In German, we say, Vertrauen is good, aber Kontrolle is besser. Trust is good, but
Yeah.
to follow up is the best. We will leave you with that today. If anybody calls you, listen to the person, but follow up and know whose voice you are listening to, because the sheep know the voice of their shepherd. If you are going to Boya, you will listen to that voice. Anybody that wants
Auf
to take you to
Wiedersehen.
Bia, do not go. Auf Wiedersehen. Ladies and gentlemen,
Auf
thank you very
Wiederhören.
much. It was a wonderful Friday. On the horizon, we are going a little bit German. Thank you, Secretary Ambrose. Because sometimes if I
Okay.
want to talk, my tongue will be heavy because the word comes in my head then in German. Then I have to search and get it in English. Thank you. I don't want to go
Okay.
again far. We just want to thank everyone that made this day a wonderful day. Ma Winnie and yourself, Honorable Secretary, and our baby girls. We thank you people for letting the world know that this is how Daddy pulls with us and still does the Amazonian work. And we appreciate every father out there who is doing the same thing, every mother who is stepping out for the our voiceless people in Amazonia. We'll continue to talk and be with you and wish you a pleasant weekend. Till within the week, we can come in any show. Please watch all the shows on ABC. You will not miss any session because we are blessed people and we are looking for nothing but the sovereignty of our homeland. And let's keep it tight and stay together. Have a blessed weekend. Thank you very much. My baby. I hope so.
This melody brings rest to the worried, sunshine to the sad, foster goodwill in businesses. It is nature's best medicine for trouble. Yeah.
Adonga,